right, it's 12:02 and the trickle has stopped trickling a little bit. My name is Grace Nagel. I'm the committee chair of the Washington State Department of Veterans Affairs Wellness Committee, and we are here with Kyle from Intercity Transit, who is going to give us a lunch and learn about Vanpool as a stress relief solution. Kyle leads community outreach and marketing for Intercity Transit's Vanpool program, helping employees, worksites, and local partners discover easier, more sustainable ways to commute. Um, I lost my notes. Sorry about that. To
That
commute.
sounds great.
Okay, great. So I'll turn the time over to Kyle.
Thanks so much, Grace. Well, welcome everyone. Like she had mentioned, my name is Kyle McPherson, and I'm a part of Intercity Transit's Vanpool team. I'm excited to chat with you all for about the next 30 minutes. I do have a timer in front of me to stay on track here. If any of you attended last year's wellness event, we had a table there, and I was able to scrape some very minimal data that told me a little bit more about your particular worksite. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So let's get started. Before we do, and this QR code will be available on each slide in the upper right-hand corner. The easiest thing to do on your side is really just to take 2 or 3 minutes to register to your commute on our website. If you haven't already done that before, when you scan that QR code, you're going to click on the sign up page. When you do that, it is going to unlock some different features. It is automated, so there are some email communications that will be sent out to you. Our team also does one-on-one ride matching assistance. So if you're interested today or down the road, we will reach out to each person that does register to have a conversation afterwards. Our page also has real-time data, and that means that today, if you were to log into the website, you would see a listing with all of our current Vanpool groups. So as those do change, maybe schedules change or groups change over, or even new groups that are starting, we have a new group at DVA right now in the process. So eventually you'll see that available as well. You can also request to learn more about a group. So if you're interested, maybe you find a group in Tacoma. If you're up that way, you can request to learn more, and we will also follow up with you. What's nice too is our database clusters commuters by work sites. So we have the ability to actually look at all workers who are registered at DVA or Liquor and Cannabis or other agencies. So that's an easy way to kind of determine if there's others that have already registered. And then if there's a connection there, we'll reach out with some more information. As I mentioned before, there's what's called commute matching. So you'll want to make sure and update your current commute hours. And our system is smart enough that it will actually alert you in the future if there's a possible match. Having someone like Grace on site is a tremendous resource as the employee transportation coordinator. So we do partner with those ETCs as well, so they can help us with recruitment and events like attending the wellness one later on this year. And then last but not least, we do encourage commuters to log in periodically just to verify that, if you came in as maybe a 7 to 4 schedule and your hours have changed, you can simply log in to your profile to make those changes. And then this was just some information that I had collected last year. There was a lot of attendance there and a lot of engagement. And these were the core areas that you all told us where you're coming from. So this gives you kind of a sneak peek of possible Vanpools, right, that could be available. And that's something that we'll be talking more about and how that all works out. I wanted to also include remote as an option. That is an ever-changing conversation, as we all know. So if that's something that you're currently doing, no worries. We can still support you when you do return to the office if needed. Before we get started, I want to do a little shout out. Our team here at Intercity Transit is small but mighty. And so I want to just kind of give you a little bit of a sneak preview of who we are as a work group. And so again, we support a lot of different commuters. This program has been in service for more than 30 years. That's about 10,000 or so participants over those 30 years that have been a part of Vanpool. We also have a special guest today that you may or may not know. Her name is Claudia. So she is a new CFO at her state agency outside of the current location of where you're at. Claudia came to state government from another position. And so as time has gone on, wanted to share a couple thoughts that she had on her mind. Things such as the geography growing, right? So it's estimated that we'll retain an additional 100,000 people, which means way more commuters just by 2040. She also knows that commuting is really expensive and can be very stressful. So based on some data that we collected, about $16 billion a year is spent just in the form of getting to work. That equals out to about 9 days, right, of someone's life each year on average, about 216 hours of folks that just sit in traffic or just time getting to and from their work. We also know that Claudia is thinking about affordability. More and more commuters nowadays have moved further out into other areas of our county or even other counties. And so that's something that she's also factored in. And if you recall, there was a span in time that the Great Resignation was going on. So there was workers who were just simply quitting their jobs. They couldn't afford or had reliability for getting to their jobs in a timely manner. Before we get started also, who are we? Our agency here is more than just a bus company. That's kind of an informal slogan that we like to use. Our mission, of course, is to provide and promote transportation choices respectful of the safety, comfort, and diverse needs of all of our customers to support an accessible, sustainable, livable, healthy, and prosperous community. I'm very fortunate. I've been at Intercity now just for over 5 years. It's been a very eye-opening experience, but one thing that really stands out to me is our customers. At the end of the day, it is awesome news when we can learn that someone who maybe had a long commute, they were spending hundreds of dollars each month getting to and from work, and we were able to come in and really be their superhero, which is something that, of course, talks more about our vision moving forward. Some of our goals for today, and I will summarize these at the end, is what's called choosing calm over chaos. This particular conversation is focused around the health and well-being of you as a commuter. Talking more about expectations, right? Are there other opportunities to make that commute to work nowadays? And the answer is yes. We also want to link Vanpool to your overall well-being and also building that workplace culture. We know that as more and more people share that commute to work, that's a community, right, that they get to build that they otherwise wouldn't have if they were driving alone. Like our mission I talked about, really focusing on the quality of life factor and just kind of exploring what that looks like. Are there small steps that you can take in your personal life that can change your current quality of life? And then our slogan is actually stress less, save more. So if you see any of our vehicles on the road, you'll see that little slogan out there, which I think just kind of ties right into our conversation today. So when you think about a new commute option to work, there's a lot that goes into it. How you commute, what that vehicle will look like, the safety, the comfort, right? You're going to be sharing that possible mode with others at your work site. It can also be stressful, right? A different type of vehicle that you may or may not be used to, but there are some great perks that I'll talk more about here shortly. Our last survey, this is about 10 years ago, we collected some survey data, and it was really positive. There at the bottom, you'll see it talks about stress, that about 90% of our Vanpool riders reported less stress. Employees also saw it as a valuable benefit. I'll talk more about that later on about your state subsidy program. 98% of our Vanpool riders at that time reported saving money. At that time, for about a 50-mile commute, it was about $7,000 in savings. One thing that I also like to mention is that top arrow there. And this is still true today. Roughly less than 10% of new customers come to us, and they had never heard about it before. So I'll talk more about how people hear about it, but it is a common theme for those that are new to the scene. We also know the importance of parking. Your work site may or may not have parking challenges. I know over here at Intercity Transit, we are currently under construction. That means we don't have enough parking spaces for everyone, which means there's more time that is built into our day to shuttle back and forth. So I'm going to take about 10 seconds. We're just going to close our eyes and we're going to think about the first thing when we woke up this morning. What was that thought like? And then we'll kind of share more about that. So for the next 10 seconds, if you want to just close your eyes and take a moment to think about the first thing this morning when your alarm clock went off. We got 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. So there's a lot of possibilities, right? As you hit the alarm clock, maybe some of you are thinking about your next vacation, your next paradise stop. A lot of people think about, the gym, going to the gym in the morning. Some things that people may also think about that can be a little bit more stressful are things like daycare cost, grocery shopping, and we all know how expensive housing is nowadays. Other things that may pop in mind is your commute. So is your commute a daily stressor? When I went into Google to make this presentation, I typed in gas prices and it immediately put up, the nice $5 plus sign here. So the commute really does matter. And so that is something that we do focus on through our Vanpool service. Robert Half's study, interesting consulting group nationwide. This was back in 2019, so this is data collected before the pandemic. They did a study and found across 28 major cities with work sites that have more than 20 employees, that about half of their workers reported that their commute is currently stressful. So they said 45% said it takes too long to get to the office. The average commute time is about 48 minutes. About 1 in 5 or so did state that their commute is over an hour. This was kind of interesting. They found that workers between the ages of 25 and 40 experienced the highest levels of stress from that survey. And this was an interesting quote. I thought this was before we started talking about the value and benefits of employers providing subsidies. And so they talked about to stay competitive, some companies have to provide creative resources for carpooling, public transportation, parking, and fuel. And thank you for those that are also putting some comments here in the chat. I see here, Grace says, how many times I can snooze? Yes, that is very, very true. And Rosalind says, Washington is considered to be one of the top worst commute times. Would definitely agree about that as well. So let's understand a little bit more about our current commute stress that may be going on. So there's what's called the hidden cost of driving. If you go on AAA's website, you'll find a breakdown of the true cost of commuting. And so feel free to do that after today's call. You can take a look at what the probability is of the actual cost of your commute. Things like more traffic, right, can cause more stress, fewer parking stalls. We go to some work sites where there's no parking available. So that can be really stressful, especially if you're a new hire. Unpredictability with time. So if you don't have access to that HOV lane, right, that could also change your commute times. How much it's going to cost. We all know right now our gas prices are fluctuating. They've jumped up, we're back to the $5 a gallon conversation. So it's costing more money just to get to your work site. And then the mental energy that goes into it. Commute stress follows you into the workday. So we all know, right? You're hurrying, you're rushing to get to work. That just means that your day is off to a little bit more of a sticky road there. Stressful mornings. Maybe your focus is out of line. Your mood could be different, and most certainly productivity could also change. The parking pressure we talked about, limited parking can create some anxiety before the day even starts. And if you've ever gone shopping before, like at the mall, if we remember holiday shopping, there's Black Fridays, people are rushing, and it can be very, very competitive to get into a parking spot. The emotional load of long commutes, fatigue, isolation, and burnout. Recently, one of our new commuters who signed up on our website said that was something that really was important to her. She found that her 45-minute commute was really isolating. So wintertime, the weather's not as nice out. It's darker earlier, and so she found that being in a van pool really helped her stay focused. So if you want, you can leave your answer in the chat. Would also like to know, what was your New Year's resolution this year? If you have any answers, feel free to put those in the chat. Get more sleep. I love that, Grace.
Apparently, I'm really tired today, and that's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Usually when we do this polls, people talk about a lot of different things, but no one really talks about, their commute options. And there was the survey that just was completed, right, with all the work sites, and folks got to tell us, why they currently commute alone. And a lot of it's just people don't realize there are options out there. So this is one of the services here at Intercity Transit that I'll talk more about. And that will lead us right into the conversation about Vanpool and how we can help reduce your stress load. So Vanpools are a great way to reduce your stress. Things like shared driving. A lot of our commuters also are not a fan of being on I-5 every day. So there's ways that we can help reduce how much time that you're spending behind the wheel. Number two is important, predictable routines, right? Getting to that routine, knowing the fact that I have to be at a parking ride, or at a store by a certain time, can help kind of get your momentum moving forward. Even with remote work now, we're finding that people who have access, right, to technology and laptops are able to start some of their day in the back seat as a commuter. There's also the mental health benefits of riding together. We talked about before, the social connection, laughter, and a sense of community. If you YouTube Vanpool King County, you'll see that there's a group that does karaoke together. That's a really big thing for them, and so they've put together their own YouTube channel. Turning time into personal time. And this hits just what Grace was saying, taking time for a nap, reading, listening to music, or just decompressing. We know again that maybe driving isn't your most important thing. So instead of having to do that routine over and over again, it might only be once a week, right? And that can definitely help reduce some of your stress. I really enjoy also that your worksite has a dedicated program for wellness. That's huge. And how do we build that more into the well-being, into transportation? The nice thing too about this conversation is the monetary reduction. So we all know that it costs money, right, to get to work. And so if you do Vanpool, there's a great perk if you're unfamiliar with it, which provides 100% subsidy that would eliminate the monthly Vanpool fare entirely. Like I mentioned before, we've been doing this service now for over 30 years. Our state workers are the core of our service. We have a lot of state folks that are participating, and this particular benefit, which we started just a couple years ago, really has gained some momentum over the years. Lower monthly cost overall, right? So reduced fuel spending. I just went to the gas station a couple days ago, and cost me $50 to fill up, and usually I was spending $35 or $36. So reduce fuel spending, fewer repairs, and what we also like is the idea of possibly no parking fees. That just means if your worksite had parking fees attached to it, a lot of times van pools are exempt from those. Less wear and tear on personal vehicles. The average vehicle nowadays is right around $50,000 if you purchase one brand new. That means if you vanpool, less miles on your own vehicle, less maintenance surprises. And I love the fact that people are just keeping their vehicles around much longer for those that are in vanpools. Budgets, we talked about the budget, right? Predictability, no cost. So instead of having, to kind of budget, your cost each month of getting to and from work, if you were to join a van pool, that your cost gets dramatically reduced very, very quickly. The work together, ride together idea. A couple of years ago, we did 2 years in a row, a push out to everyone here in Thurston County. So you may have received that postcard. Um, but some other things, other benefits we talked about before, it frees up parking spaces, just kind of that general flow in and out of your work site. I've been there again the last couple of years for your wellness events. It's a great benefit, and this is something that is often overlooked, is a lot of folks think, well, I'm not in the office 5 days a week, right? That's okay. We can still support commuters who are hybrid, or again, those who have a regular shift are great candidates for a Vanpool group. And then we already talked about this, the workplace wellness alignment. It's great to see the opportunity, like today, talking about how transportation impacts your stress levels. Sustainability factors, reduce emissions through shared rides. Again, less cars on the road means cleaner air and less congestion. I love number two. Again, there's opportunities. You may not all work together, but if you all commute to the same building and have the same schedule, it's a great opportunity, even if you're a manager or non-manager. And then our state's commute trip reduction program, again, has been in service since the early 90s. We spend a lot of money trying to reduce congestion here in the state of Washington. I found this to be rather interesting. So the Clean Air Agency put this together that said about 53,000 people a year prematurely die or pass away from just the pollution of vehicles. So they estimated driving more than 10 miles to and from work can also affect your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and again, more stress and anxiety along the way. Practical ways that you can change some of your commute behavior. I'll talk more about here real shortly. We'll talk about how you can join or start a van pool, how we can do some matching, what a van pool looks like, and some of the success stories. If you have new hires that are joining your team, it's a great conversation to have. Hey, we're so glad to have you on our team. Where do you commute from? And that's just an easy way to start that conversation. And that's where our team would come in and help that new commuter or new employee get to work. And don't forget that your commute is also a monthly bill, right? So van pools can help lower it. So real quick, what is a van pool? Pretty simple here. Van pool is just a group of 3 or more people. So 3 or more people who travel to and from work together. That means that the group typically has a longer commute. We see a lot of commuters, state workers that come from King County and Pierce County and Lewis County and Mason County. So it is designed for those that are outside the area. Our team again provides the vehicle, all the support and other perks along the way. It is simple, flexible, and it's a much better way of commuting than driving in yourself. I would also mention too, there's no commitment. So if you want to just try it out, great. We can have you join and have you determine after the month how things are going. So why Vanpool matters a little bit more, so we can solve problems all at once, reduce some stress, save you some money, and help with sustainability goals. Each agency, again, has a plan for how this all works. And with our state's commute trip reduction program is aimed at reducing emissions and congestion. If there's anyone from HR, really everybody at their agency is a recruiter, but to say this tool can also be used as recruitment and retention, especially for those that may have a longer commute and deciding, do I want to work at the state of Washington, right? Depending on how far my commute is. So what we do again is provide the vehicle. That includes all the maintenance, gas, tolls, insurance, and we also give the group the fuel card, which includes car washes. So pretty sweet. You get to clean the vehicle free of charge. If you're a state worker, and this particular work site with DBA and liquor and cannabis, I know both have their agency agreement signs. That means we can get you on board with that free subsidy. If you were to start your own group, have some coworkers in mind, again, that group would come together and put together their schedule, and we would get your drivers approved. Um, One of the advantages I believe with vanpooling is it is all inclusive. So if you've ever been on a cruise before or done other vacations and they say pay one price and it's all included, and we say pay nothing and it's all included, that would apply to you as a state worker. So again, all the repairs on the vehicle, all the gas, all the fuel. Our staff is great. We are small, but we do support over 155 active Vanpool groups. Um, and then we all know, things can come up. Repairs in general are really expensive. The days of going and getting your oil change, for 20 or 30 bucks is a thing of the past. I have a Honda and I thought those were pretty reliable vehicles. I come to find out, their oil prices are almost 100 bucks. And then you start factoring all those extra things along the way. Some benefits for you as a worker, right? Talk about your overall budget. So your commute costs are going to drop significantly. You're going to have that predictable travel schedule. We also have to remind folks that if you commit to it, it doesn't mean, hey, I'm committing being in the office on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The van pool may still operate, but you'd have a group chat involved with your team, your van pool team, to let them know, hey, I'm on vacation this week, or I'm going to work from home this week, and that is still acceptable for being in a vanpool group. If you live up north, there's the HOV lane factor, so that can also help reduce some of the time getting to work. And then again, we all love to take naps and catch up on our day if possible. Question from Jennifer. Yes, so it is a state benefit that would mean that you wouldn't pay for anything out of pocket. We would get you enrolled. And we can kind of skip over this part, but again, if your employer on the call here, kind of from HR, this talks a little bit more about some of the drivers behind it, why it matters, and how we can again make your work site a best workplace for commuters. Also collected some information this year. Commute with Enterprise estimated that commuters will spend about almost a fifth of their paycheck getting to work. So if we were to take that out, right, that's about a 20% raise you can think about if you are commuting to the work site. If you go online to the state's commute to production page, you'll see a link with all the details and benefits for you as a state worker. If you haven't already been on that page before, that will go more in depth about the benefits to you. If you're interested in forming a Vanpool, it starts really just with a conversation. Again, we have some recruitment flyers that we can pass over to you. You again need 3 people. You'll determine who that primary person is to keep the vehicle at their house, determine that schedule. We'll walk you through all the onboarding, which is all done remotely. And then if for some reason you may be new to your work site, or maybe you just moved. I moved down here to Lacey about 5 years ago. I didn't know anyone. So a good example would be is you can reach out to our team, and we have a database of over 3,000 people that have signed up that are just waiting to get matched into either a current group or a new group. If you're interested in being a driver, it doesn't require a special driving license. Again, we will verify your driving history going back 3 years. You'll go through a defensive driving course. We'll go over some different procedures along the way. We'll also meet on site for the primary driver who comes and picks the vehicle up at that time. If you're starting a new group, make it pretty easy and convenient for you. We do have a minimum of 1 driver in the Vanpool group. Of course, having more drivers just reduces that barrier and hopefully, again, reduces some stress along the way. Rider expectations is pretty minimal. Again, you'll sign up our participant agreement. You'll determine which group you want to join, and we will get you connected into it. And hopefully those that haven't already, again, that QR code in the upper right-hand corner will get you signed up on our page. Safety and support can also be a factor for reducing stress. So our group ensures that safety is a top priority. All the vehicles do get maintained in-house here at Intercity Transit. That includes our maintenance staff. Roadside assistance is also available. We bring the vehicles in for service about every 5 or 6,000 miles, so they are well maintained throughout the process. And I'm running a little bit short on time here. I have a couple more slides just to share. These are some stats to say that our vans do travel a lot. So combined, we had about 2.6 million miles last year alone. If your trip starts to or from Thurston County, that is how you would start a new group. However, if you're in the county, that's fine, or outside the county, that's fine. That group may have a stop along the way. I love to brag that one of our oldest Vanpool groups is actually a state agency. So group number 5, they've been with us since 1996, Washington State Patrol. So kudos to them for being so active over the last several years. Um, we will again talk about this at the end, but the easiest way of doing it is scanning the QR code. We will provide one-on-one assistance to you as an employee at your work site. It only takes 3 people to get started, but it only takes one person like yourself to think about how you can change your commute patterns. On our website, and again at the end, we'll have my contact information. If you're interested, you can connect with me, and I will walk through this to you with you. It takes a little bit of kind of some clicking around, but eventually you can find our map, which also involves a detailed way to search. So again, this is all real-time data that will give you a current list of all of our Vanpool groups. I want to also share just one quick success story. So this is from Tammy, who was in a Vanpool group. And what she says back in 2008 may sound familiar to you in 2026.
My name is Tammy Garofalo, and I work for a state agency in Olympia, Washington. I started vanpooling back in 2008 when the gas prices reached $5 a gallon. I decided to recruit some members that lived in Pierce County and began that way. I know individuals that vanpool with me especially don't like to drive, and in addition to that, they like to save the wear and tear on their car. There's less, trips to the gas station, less oil changes and such. There are established parking spots for vanpools, so it makes parking a lot easier. I would just like to say thank you to Intercity Transit for having the program available.
Awesome, thank you. In the very beginning, I did an introduction with also Claudia. So Claudia is a real customer of ours. She joined Vanpool a couple months ago. Her commute is actually over 100 miles, which is a lot, right? So I wanted to give a really strong example of how impactful it really can be. She happens to also be on site on a more regular basis. You'll see there at the bottom that her yearly commute savings is going to be, over $13,000, which quickly will tumble into, 6 figures as she continues her state career. So Claudia is our superhero, and you can save on your commute too. All right, I've got one last slide to share with you. And if you have any questions, again, we will get those answered for you, either in the chat box or we'll open the floor to everyone. Stress less, vanpool more. So choosing calm over chaos. Your commute shouldn't be the hardest part of your day. Thinking more about how can you reduce, your stress? How can you set new expectations? Maybe that's a new something new that you'll consider for the rest of 2026. Ride together, arrive better. So linking Vanpool to well-being and workplace culture. And then finally, a better morning starts with a better ride, focusing on the quality of life. If you're on social, you may know who this person is. She did a quick video for us that I will close today's presentation with.
I got to swing by Intercity Transit's Vanpool program and check out the sweet rides for myself. This is a program I knew very little about, so the offer to learn more was so kind. From sleek 5-person sedans to spacious passenger vans and hybrid options. You can join an existing van pool or create your own. Intercity Transit provides the vehicle, covers gas and maintenance, and makes commuting way easier. When you sign up, your first month is free. It's an incredible way to save money, skip the stress of solo driving, and help reduce pollution and congestion at the same time. It was great to see this local program and meet the wonderful folks who support it. Check out the webpage in the description below if you'd like to learn more about commuting and saving on gas and maintenance.
All right. That is a quick run through. Hopefully you learned some new things about Intercity Transit's Vanpool program. We do have about 8 minutes or so, so I will pass it back over to Grace.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. We did have a couple questions. One, Rosalind is wondering about how old the vehicles are.
Great question. So I can start actually with our newest vehicles, our 2025s. So we are currently going through a van replacement project. So you may see some of those on the roads. All of those are hybrids. The rest of the vehicles probably are about up to 10 years old or so. Again, the older vehicles are being replaced as they meet the threshold. But yeah, they are available. There's, regardless if you're in one of those newer vehicles or one of our older vehicles, it's still a great way to save money and would count towards the subsidy program.
Anna from a different agency is wondering how an agency goes about entering into an agreement, and is there an agreement template or something she can have when she pitches to her agency?
Great question. We do work really closely with WashDOT's CTR team there. So I will get in touch with you, Anna, on how to do that. And we would love to get your agency on board and perhaps offer a similar lunch and learn in the near future.
Those are the questions that I was tracking in the chat. Did anybody have any other questions? Feel free to type it in the chat or unmute your mic and popcorn out.
Yeah, and I'll mention too, I love our phones, our work phones. They are text enabled. So if you're one that maybe doesn't want to make another call, don't worry about that. That will allow you to text me. And I have my phone with me way too much throughout the day. So feel free to send me a text and I'm more than happy to continue the conversation with you.
All right.
And remind me again, Grace, the wellness fair, which is coming up later on this year. What day will that be on?
That is August 26th, I believe. It's the last Thursday in August, August 27th.
Okay.
Yes.
So we will also be at that event. So it would be great to see some of you in person if you'll also be attending. So we'll try our best to bring some really cool swag or candy.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Just so that anybody here at DVA is interested, Matt actually in HR is the one who is the coordinator, the commute trip reduction coordinator. And I think that's who Kyle's been working with. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's the case. There's one employee right now that's going through the process. We're trying to get them on the road. So if you happen to commute from Tacoma, please let me know. We are looking for some more people to join that new group. So
yeah, and it looks like Rosalind is interested in it also.
Okay.
Yeah, so awesome.
Thank you so much. Well, I look forward to hearing from some of you and definitely look forward to the event in August.
Yep. All right. Thank you so much. Oh,
Thank you.
Rosalind's asking, is there one here? By here, like, where are you talking about here, Rosalind? Where's your home base? Oh, they're working on creating one at DVA, right? Is that what you were saying, Kyle?
DVA, yeah, it's actually going to be, I think, a DVA and Washington State Patrol combined group. So,
Yeah. So it looks like Roslyn says Tacoma's fine. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Make sure you register and I will reach out to you.
Yeah, scan that QR code in the top right. Um, and yeah, and you'll get registered. Thanks, Roslyn. All right. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Yep. Have a great day, everyone.